Tennessee's traveling to Ohio State in the shoe. This spread's 7.5, man. Ohio State's coming off of a embarrassing loss as a 20-point favorite to a Michigan team at home. I believe. I mean, what are we doing? And this spread 7.5. Well, guess what? This Ohio State team is still, in my opinion, the most talented team in the country. They just have kind of pissed down their legs a couple times. You look at the Oregon game late. They had a chance to win that game. They really did. They probably could have and should have won that game. They just didn't. All right, credit to Oregon there. Oh, by the way, they had to go to Eugene to do that. And then in a rivalry game, you had a stinker. All right, which by the way gave you essentially a bye, which was pretty nice. I don't know.
Instead of
Just
having a first round bye. Yeah, yeah, exactly,
you
exactly.
basically, well, I guess yeah. Instead of having a
You
first
get
round
stuck
bye.
playing the 9 seed instead of playing probably the 12 or the 11 seed, right? So,
Yep.
you know,
But I I like Ohio State in this spot. I'm sorry. Their defense has been kind of wishy washy for me all year, as elite as they are. Right. I just don't think Nico's got it, man. This year, maybe next year. Like it, the first couple of games, right? You look at that out of conference slate, and of course, it was a garbage out of conference slate. All right, we talked about NC State being maybe the worst, one of the worst teams in the ACC, and that ended up coming to fruition, right? Especially that on the defensive side of the football. Uh, yeah, they decimated some teams out of conference that were really bad, right? You get two conference play, and this Nico doesn't have. In these last two seasons, we've talked about how good is this wide receiver room going to be. Oh my gosh, it's got all the pieces. They've got names. They've got speed. It's been very underwhelming. Dylan Sampson has been the key here for this Tennessee team all season long. And teams have been able to run against Ohio State some, right? Oregon found a way to do it with Jordan James. Okay, they found a way to do it. If Tennessee can find a way to do that with Dylan Sampson, I could see them being in this game. Absolutely. But I like Will Howard in this bounce back spot. I think he's gonna play well. I really do. I know this Tennessee defense is really good, especially from a pass rushing perspective. Where at the tackle spot for Ohio State, you've had issues. You've had issues. But if Chip Kelly and Ryan Day know what's good for them, they are going to find a way to freaking run the football. All right, in the month of December, they're going to do it. Make Tennessee come up there and stop two of the best running backs in college football. You have to find a way to do it. And if they do, I think Ohio State wins and covers 7.5. Absolutely. I think there are a lot of situations though where this game is really close late, and maybe Will Howard makes a mistake. Maybe there's an explosive play. Maybe there's a big sack. Maybe there's a special teams blunder somewhere. There could be a scenario where Tennessee wins this football game, but I'll pick them to win and cover the 7.5.
yeah, I'm with you here on Ohio State. I also think Tennessee's, you mentioned the wide receiver room, injuries are an actual concern, right? Squirrel White, is he healthy? Brew McCoy, Dante Thornton, guys like that. Are they going to be healthy? You've seen them being banged up in practice. You've seen them not being at full strength, right? You hope you get them back. You obviously still have Chris Brazell. You've got the freshmen there, Mike Matthews and Braylon Staley. Are they ready to contribute? The problem is there's a couple ways to beat Ohio State, right? You can either just, for whatever reason, what Michigan does is out physical them, right? Or you can have big time wide receiver play. You saw guys over in Oregon and Eugene there. You saw Evan Stewart. You saw Tez Johnson make big time plays against contested catches, beat man coverage against some really good corners, a really good secondary, and have some kind of line to be able to hold up and protect against those edge rushers there. Obviously, Jack Sawyer, got a lot of publicity for his Michigan after the game shenanigans. He's a really good football player, right? He is a really good football player on that football team. A guy I'd love to have on my team, damn, because he's really, really good. You mentioned it, though. It is Dylan Sampson, Dylan Sampson, Dylan Sampson for Tennessee. The irony is people forget just a couple years ago, right? Or maybe you haven't forgotten. That's all you think of when you think of Tennessee and Josh Heupel is this up tempo spread, wide splits offense, kind of gimmicky. You're throwing the football everywhere. But the past 2 years, and especially this year, You've had really good defensive play, and you've had an elite running back play. Dylan Sampson is the best running back in the SEC, maybe the third or second best running back in all of college football. I don't think that's hyperbole to say at all. He has been fantastic. Is that
Sorry,
crazy?
I'll say third.
Who's second?
Scatterboo.
Dean Connors. Oh yeah, Scatterboo. Yeah,
Dean
that's not
Connors
crazy.
is way up there. Dean
Bro,
Connors is way up there. From a
no,
hey,
yeah.
that guy
No,
catches
no.
passes out of the backfield. Come on.
Thank you for that. Yeah, yeah. I'll say third because Scatterb is awesome. But yeah, I'm with you. I think Ohio State too, in terms of how about the other side of the football, right? What Tennessee defensively has done has been fantastic. Metrically, they are awesome, right? You look at them, their eighth rushing defense, right? They're seventh in passing, they're fourth in the scoring. A lot of good things there. The fifth in getting off the field, fifth in the country, getting off the field on third down, less than 30% conversion rate for that team is fantastic. Borderline elite, right? Really, really elite. Look at their schedule though, and you want to tell me which wide receiver cores like really scare you on this schedule, right? And you kind of got to go all the way back to Alabama and a young Ryan Williams. You got Jeremy Bernard, and honestly a banged up and just shell of himself Jalen Monroe, who could not take advantage of that at all. Who had open receivers down the field, and you just missed them at times. I think it'll be a significant step up here. Jeremiah Smith, obviously, Emeka Buka, former 5-star kid, really, really good. You got a couple five
Carnell
stars there:
Tate.
Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, G. Scott, the tight end, the two running backs out of the pack. A lot of weapons here. You said Chip Kelly, Ryan Day. These guys have to come up with a game plan that lets them run the football and also take advantage of, I think a matchup wise positive you have in your wide receiver core, and let Will Howard sit back there, hopefully healthy, and get after him and not get in spots where James Pierce and other guys on the Tennessee front can get after you, and you can cause turnovers. You can get off the field on third down. A lot of bad things can happen there. Plus, two, apparently, and I'm just going to bring it up shortly here. Apparently, there's going to be a good amount of Tennessee fans in the stadium.
Yeah, no, that's the word on the street right there. Some AD dropped the absolute ball on that one. Wonder what AD that could have been.
What AD?
I don't know what AD that could have been, but I think playing on the road, yeah, yeah, we like our new guy now. But anyways, I do think penalties have been an issue a little bit for Tennessee, and I think going on the road, granted, while you'll have, I guess, a large number of your fans there, it's still a problem.
Yeah,
All right,
it'll
and
be a minority for sure.
yeah, and I don't know what the weather's going to be like in Columbus. I feel like it
Cold.
maybe hasn't been that bad. It's going to be really cold.
It would be below 30. So cold.
Ooh, it's hot.
But Tennessee in Knoxville, like Knoxville's far enough north.
Yeah,
It's not like
not
you're coming from Florida or you're coming
no,
from Tuscaloosa or
but
Austin.
sub 30 is a big deal there still.
Yeah, and it almost plays into honestly Tennessee's style where they can pound the rock, right? But I think Ohio State also brands and prides itself on physicality too. What they can do defensively,
Yeah.
the two
Well, we'll
running
see what
backs.
Jeremiah Smith looks like in sub 30-degree weather as well. Florida kid.
Well, I mean, I guess he played in a cold weather game in Columbus, right, against Michigan,
Well, I guess
and
so. And yeah,
it's a learning experience, right?
for sure. But so you're on it. Ohio State with me minus 7.5.
Yeah, I feel pretty darn good about that, and we'll talk about that when we get to our best bets. I think Tennessee gonna struggle to score. I think Ohio State, it's basically first team to 20 here. If you're Ohio State, just
Yeah,
get to
that's not
20,
crazy.
and I think you feel pretty good about it.
Vegas would agree with you. Tennessee's team totals at 19.5. So first one of
Uh,
20.
Remember that number because that could be an important one later on.
That could be an important one.
Oh, real quick. So, is there a scenario where Nico, let's say he's just been playing how he's been playing, right? And when I say that, I mean they are 62nd in the country in passing offense. They are 73rd in explosive play rate, right? When I say explosive, I mean 10 plus yards or more, right? I know people define explosive other ways. 10 plus plays or more through the air, they're 73rd, right? If Nico plays at a middle of the pack quarterback level, can Tennessee still win?
Yeah.
And how?
Well,
Do they need a lot of turnovers or can they
playing
just
up, not, it would just be playing to the level that they can play on the defensive side of the football.
okay.
Like, if Nico plays middle of the pack, like, You have his bell curve of outcomes, right? And he plays at his mean, right? I think Tennessee can still win this game. It would require 130 yards from Dylan Sampson because that's his mean, right? At least you need at least 130 yards from Dylan Sampson, and then you would also need your defense to step up. I don't know that you need turnovers, maybe big third down stops, right? Like I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, Ohio State's not perfect on third down. By the way, they're not perfect on third down, and Tennessee happens to be really, really good on third down. If you don't run the ball effectively on those first two downs, Tennessee is going to let the dogs go on third down and that's when you could see some trouble for sure. So I think Tennessee can win this game if Nico plays a mediocre game. I think if he plays a fantastic game, I think Tennessee probably wins this game. But I'm not counting on that.